On the ground for almost 30 minutes before a warning was issued, not through anyone's fault, but just because telltale signs of a tornado were so obscure that no one could actually recognize it until we got a spotter that saw the actual tornado.
The nearest radar sites are in Oklahoma City and in Fort Worth.
Since we're so far away, probably 115 miles or so from Oklahoma City, we can't
Girls, if you can. All the way behind us. The line all the way across.
There you go.
Okay, Charlie? Jed?
Yes, ma'am.
Come up front, please.
You sure you want the girls to hold it? That way I can stand in the back.
Erica, come on. You're a booster. Oh.
You're a sweetheart. Thank you for letting me just push you up there. I know, that's what I mean.
Okay.
You stand right there.
Come on up. You can hold
You
the
girls
check.
stand right there in the front.
Oh, we're all in here. Come on.
Yeah, everybody up in there. Come on. Come on.
Right here. I don't think that's gonna work, but.
Come on,
Erica. Okay.
Okay.
Front.
Guys, I need somebody to hold the check on both ends for us. Got it?
Okay, we got all bodies in here? Look at that. Okay. Fantastic. Ready? Tall shoulders, big smile. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Beautiful.
Okay.
All right.
This isn't the real check. You'll really get one that that you can cash. And that should be ready this Friday. Is that
Should be
correct?
en route, yeah.
Okay, but I think he's made arrangements with Lindsay.
Yes, she said that.
Correct.
Good deal. Thank you, girls.
Thank you.
Great job.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming down. I
We are
appreciate that.
excited about
Hey,
it.
We are too.
We are going to have
Okay, shed it, Calhoun,
There's Jim.
Thorpe.
Do you want me to go run one off real quick? I got it sitting up on the desktop. I just got to
No, I'm doing.
She's got it.
Okay.
She's got it.
Chairman Shetty, Calhoun, Thorpe, Vice Chairman Reed, and who am I missing?
Jeff, would you do the invocation,
Oh.
please?
Pardon me?
Would you do the invocation?
What's Cole's last name again?
Walker.
Vice Chair Reed and,
Jim, would you lead the flag salute for us today? Would you lead the flag salute?
what we call Danny, he's the chair.
Yes.
He's the chairman. He's the chairman and I'm vice chair.
Yeah, and what do we call
Trustees, yeah.
Okay, let's call this meeting to order. We have 5 present, so there is a quorum. Jeff, would you lead us in the invocation, please?
I will. Will you pray with me, please? Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and for this meeting. We ask you to be with each of us in our decision making, that we make good decisions for our community. Be with all of us and keep us safe. In Jesus' name, amen.
And the flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Go ahead with the roll call.
Okay. Trustee Walker, Trustee Shattuck,
Here.
Trustee Calhoun,
Here.
Trustee Thorpe, Vice Chairman Reed,
Here.
Chairman Shear.
Here, just barely.
Yes, we're on the order of business now, David.
All right. All right, the minutes of the June 28th meeting. Any discussion? Corrections?
Just a note, Jeremy, Mr. Calhoun said he did not receive his agenda, so we need to double check and make sure that emails are correct and everything.
I did not receive my agenda. I didn't get anything till today right now. It wasn't even on my email. I've always got it on my email for the last 4 years, but I didn't get anything. I called the chamber yesterday and I couldn't get anybody.
You called my phone and I called you back. You didn't call the chamber.
Well, I did. I called the chamber. I called the front head desk and nobody was there. Left a message there too before I did that.
We were there. Oh, we've had phone problems. Yeah, we did have phone issues. So,
They went out Friday afternoon, correct?
yeah.
That's what I was just fixing to
Okay.
look, because I didn't find it today, but no one.
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second it. Okay, motion's been made to accept, and a second. Roll call.
Trustee Shattuck,
Yes.
Trustee Calhoun,
Yes.
Trustee Thorpe,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Reed,
Yes.
Chairman Shear.
Yes. Okay. Financial reports.
If you look at page 10, I feel like we're getting a better handle on our financial situation. For the trustees, the top part is kind of a reconciliation based off of hard numbers and not budget numbers, if that makes sense to you. So it's going to look a little different than what the city put out on the page before that, by just a little bit, just simply based off of just that. They go off of a budget, we go off of, what we're trying to do with this document is go off of what we've actually spent. So they're a little bit different, but we do feel really pretty good about that end number. So if on page 10 you look at funds available at 630, $909,843. You add back in your revenue for July and your expenses for July. That brings it down to $915,276, and then you add back or subtract back off what we have budgeted this year of the $332,470, which would be your encumbrance for expenses for the year. That gets us down to a balance today of $582,806.49. Of course, that being said, that's taking out everything we think we'll spend this year. So below that has your expenses for July thus far, and then your it shows your encumbrance funds, so it adds back up to the $332,470. So I feel pretty good about this number. If you turn back one page previously to page number 9, this is what the city provides us, and it starts out 909,158, which is a little different than our 909-843, but they're $700 different. So we were able to find in the financials that we were provided from the city, most of all these numbers, the funds balance, 6/30 of 2021 had a initial fund balance of 863,066.51. That is on again page 9, about the middle of those figures. You add back in what the total revenue was, the 440,489. You subtract off the total expenses for 2021-22 of 396,039.24, leaving an excess of 44,450.26, which you would add back into your initial balance of 863,066.51. And then if that leaves you 907,516.77, and you add back in your pending liabilities or other words, expenses, $20,900.50, leaves a balance of $928,417.27, and that's where we would come off for this year's budget. So it's different than what ours show on the next page, but I feel somewhat comfortable that we're pretty close as far as actual numbers go.
And thank you, because it's the best way it's ever been explained and done.
It's not perfect by any means, and Janet and Jeremy did a lot of work on this. So
thank all of you for your efforts on that.
That's been what we wanted to see for the last few months, that itemized like that. So really what we had, we used 396,000 of the budget last year, or the money
Correct.
last year, so we had 44,000. So we're pretty close to breaking even this year on the money.
so far, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Danny, Jeff had requested that we go ahead and look at the grant from the Simple Family Museum.
Okay,
so
sure.
that they don't have to sit through the entire thing.
All right, okay. Now, let's skip down to number 8.
Are we gonna take a motion here?
I don't think you have to.
We don't have to on that.
Okay. We're going to talk about the Simple Family Museum grant.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for entertaining us today. I'm excited to be here and represent the Simple Family in Southeastern Oklahoma State University. I don't know how many of you have been to our museum, but we're brand new. We opened last October. It was a gift given by the Simple family. Janie Simple Umstead is a board member and local artist and extraordinaire.
Yay.
And the rest of the Hop Girls. But anyway, we'll talk about them later. But we are here today to talk about some funding needs in order for us to be successful in our inaugural event. As you will see the packet, we have submitted a request for $7,500. In that $7,500, we foresee spending money locally, but moreover having money spent here, not by us, but by our attendees of the event. We anticipate to have approximately 300 people. That's the goal. Many of those will come from out of state. One of our honorees is from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Our board members are from Denver, Tulsa. They will be staying with us, as well as then just local artists, local being within the state, that we're going to recognize, but they also will be traveling to our area. So it is a 2-day event. It will be a Thursday evening reception and then a Friday evening inaugural gala and Hall of Fame induction. And so our Hall of Fame induction will honor the first ever Native American artist. There's not currently a Hall of Fame specific to Native American artists. We're going to honor Margaret Wheeler. She is a Chickasaw tribe. She usually is out of Ada. I believe that's correct. Margaret Wheeler? Sulphur, okay. Sulphur, the late Kelly Haney, as most of you know, he did The Guardian at the top of the Capitol, and he was a former senator. He passed away a few months ago, so his family will be accepting on his behalf. And Victory Poteet, who his residence is actually in Santa Fe, New Mexico, but he's from Idabel, so we're hopeful that his family will come over and join him from Idabel. So for economic impact, I know that you all have looked at this. We anticipate having approximately 25 hotel rooms. Of our 300 attendees, if they are here for 2 days, we anticipate that they are going to eat in town, they'll buy fuel in town, they will have personal attire, whether the ladies are getting their nails done, the gentlemen are at the bar, that sort of thing. We're also going to have to put on the event, which means we're going to have local caterers, local food service. We already utilize local vendors, like what I'm wearing today. We went to the new Ink and Thread. That is Tasha Bond. We have numerous printing projects that will be going on, from banners to invitations, valet signs, lighting, which we will be talking with Tip Jones, which for Overdrive, yeah. He is one that we'll consult with. We're going to hire an event planner. So anyway, a multitude of things, but we think the financial impact for Durant for the one event will be about $140,000 by the time we spend money and our guests spend money. So with that, I would entertain questions.
All of the correct financial documentation was attached, and if you remember last month, we voted to not put that in the packet because it made it so thick once we okayed it, that everything that was required was in the grant.
Who else is donating to this? Is it Choctaw Nation donating?
We're going to approach all of the tribes. If we have a piece of art in the museum, our goal is to go to those tribes. So we have over 30 tribes that we intend to approach, but right now we don't have any solid sponsors. So you guys we went to Southeastern Foundation and have made an appeal to them and you all. So we're a brand new event. So we're hoping to raise $100,000. That's the goal, but it's going to take us $25,000 to $30,000 to put it on. And so anything that you guys could contribute would be most appreciated. It'll go out. We have not even ordered invitations yet, so there's a place for sponsorship on that. Of course, our website, anywhere that we are publicizing, you guys would be recognized.
Jim, so you're going to have an online giving and flex cards and prints and live auction
at the event. Mm-hmm.
And so what are you auctioning off?
We're going to, Miss Umstead?
Janie gets auctioned off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's negotiable. It could work. No, we're going to have, we're hoping to have 10 pieces, approximately 7 to 10 pieces of live auction, and then we're going to have about 20 pieces that are going to be prints that probably are going to be from the museum, and they will be in a sealed bid. And so we're not going to have an event like the silent auctions that everybody's bidding against each other, but we're going to have a sealed bid option. No, it is you. Dinner with Janie. No, I'm just kidding. Some pieces of hers. She's actually doing some bronzes even. So she's had 2 pieces of bronze cast. So much like if you've been out to the cultural center, she has the bronze statues that are out there that are small and the cave pieces. So she's had some additional pieces cast. So they are for sale. They can be yours. You can take those home.
This is Thursday evening?
Thursday is going to be the reception. Friday will be the gala. So Thursday we'll do a reception once for the students of Southeastern to meet the artist, for the community to come out and have, one of the artists or the honorees has a book. So we'll do a book signing and a welcome.
Then Friday evening?
Then Friday evening will be the gala. Yeah.
Now this is August the 1st, or when is it?
No, the October the 14th is going to be the event. We've got to start selling tickets and sponsorships and all of that now, and deposits to the caterers and all of that. So that's why we're kind of at an important place for sponsorships.
Is there anything else going on that weekend? The Southeastern at home ball game?
They don't, but Colton's Run is the next day.
Right.
So we're actually going to do some cross-marketing. For instance, Vicki Newsom has taken on that if our guests are in hotels, she's going to bring a welcome basket that will have cards from, the Three Valley Museum, Amish store, places like that would be unique to Durant. And then, of course, we are going to encourage our guests to not just stay and visit just the cultural center, but come to, the art galleries. Then we were talking about the art gallery, Three Valley Museum. Of course, the museum will be open, and some, like Texoma, that sort of thing.
We do have bags that we can provide you for your guests coming in, too.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll get Vicki to get with you. She was supposed to come to the chamber and
Okay.
pick some things up.
Okay.
So she's
One of the
spearheading
things
that.
I would like to add to it, I don't know if any of you were fortunate enough to attend the Chautauqua event that was hosted at the Simple Family Museum, but they did an excellent job.
That's what I've heard.
Thank you.
Excellent.
It was fabulous, very well done, very professional. I think this is something that I'm certainly proud of, and I think the community needs to be proud of this museum. It's one of the things that we promote when we are on the road. We hope to have a feature in there in our Discover Durant book this year just about the museum itself. So with that being said, I'll gladly make, if there's no other questions.
Are you going to advertise with the television and radio on this?
Depends upon our budget. Depends upon what kind of resources we have, because as we all know, that's expensive. And we are, brand new, and we are going to do a lot of face-to-face invitations. And because we're not like the Magnolia Festival or something like that, but we believe that the people that have come to Chautauqua that are visiting the museum are looking for a cultural experience. So maybe more than mass media, we're going to have a lot of direct contact with our patrons.
I think Durant, Discover Oklahoma ran the piece.
They did.
this weekend.
Very good.
Yeah.
I missed it, but,
Very good.
I watched it last night. So yeah. So, we're launching. So we're excited. The Chautauqua events like Janet's talking about, we served over 120 people, and we had to cap those events because we had so much involvement in those. We ran about 40 people, 28 to 42. The first one, we were begging people to come. By the end, I had people already trying to buy for the season passes for next spring. So I think we're doing good things. We're excited.
It's awesome that Durant's having something.
I do too.
Oh,
It really, I think it's progressive, more progressive.
and it's a beautiful facility. I mean, I say I would get to work in the prettiest place on campus,
It is.
so, it's a good thing.
First class facility, it really
Yeah,
is.
and this is going to be a launch pad for phase 2 expansion for the museum and renovation of the amphitheater. So that is coming. Those plans are being developed. So if we can get this first year under our belt and be successful, then that's the goal. Is that within the next 5 years we will have those renovations done. And if we can get the amphitheater renovated, that could be huge for
It would
outdoor
be
concerts.
huge.
Any number of things.
Huge.
So.
I'd like to hear just a few words from our artist back here. I've known her a long time. She's,
Yes.
Well, bless your heart.
she's a nice guy. She is. From Quality County.
Well, thank you, Jim. Yeah. Do you want to ask me a question? You want me to just start talking?
I just wanted you to expound on
Well,
what you think about this.
well, thank you. I caught off guard a little bit here, but I did want you to know that we first of all believe that this will be really an asset to Durant. We really do. There's so many things going on with Durant, and it's not only it's a unique museum, but also we're already collaborating with the Cultural Center, with the Choctaw Nation. It's unique in that it's not just about the Choctaw and Chickasaw tribes. This is, like we've said earlier, it has 30, and the Discover Oklahoma indicated there's 30 plus tribes that are involved in the museum. So it's not just those two tribes. But also that this event is going to be an annual event. So, and we feel like with the Cultural Center, the two entities are adding a new kind of a plus for Durant, a cultural plus. Durant's always, believe it or not, it's always been a place of cultural, that because of the university and for our part of the state, we've just always been proud of the offerings that we've had for our children and our families that are here, and we look forward to having more things. Sometimes art brings new people and new blood that maybe we wouldn't get before, and it kind of brings us up a level. But it was really an honor for my family. It's really my brother, my sister that really got together after my oldest brother passed away to decide to do something really significant for not just Southeastern, but Southeastern Oklahoma and Durant. We grew up here. We were all born and raised here, all my family, and so it was just an opportunity to do something to we feel like we'll live on and for a very, very good purpose.
I've been to the Cultural Center. Do you have any pictures in the...
Yes, I have quite a few things there.
Is it all the way through or toward the front?
Well, you know, you'll notice when you're there at the Cultural Center, there aren't any real paintings or sculpture there. It has a very historic presentation in the beginning, but it kind of hidden. Someone mentioned the caves. If you go in there, there's a very definite. The tribe really wanted to highlight their origin stories, so I was asked to do 3 bronzes that are tabletop size that indicate the old the old stories of the tribe about where they came from. Of course, they weren't Christian at that time. They were all they had a lot of fanciful stories about where their people came from, and that was my job. And then I have quite a few things in the films having to do with the Trail of Tears, having to do with the stickball game. So there must be 35 images of my work. And recently, there's see, you're sorry you asked me to talk. There's an ongoing exhibit right now that is there, and it was opened Saturday, that I have 2 pieces in that show, but the show is all about the connection between the Irish people and the Scotch people and the Choctaw and Chickasaw. I don't know if it's 5 tribes or just Choctaw, but the interplay, of course, that really figures into my family heavily because the name Simple is Scottish, and my family were a mixture of the missionaries. The Scottish Presbyterian missionaries came to Dteda, Oklahoma, and married into the Choctaw tribe, the Pitchland family. So this art show is thematic of that connection, which you might have heard a lot about the gift that the Choctaws gave to the Irish people 175 years ago when the Irish people were suffering from the potato famine, and the Choctaws, when they were here, they hadn't been here but about a few years, and they were able to gather up little amounts of money, $175, and send to the Irish, and they've forever been grateful. So that's right there, that connection. So this art show is all about that.
Well, I know people don't know, but really the Choctaw and Chickasaws are sister nations.
Yes.
They literally came from twin brothers of the Choctaws.
And one of the sculptures is about that. There's 2 brothers, and the pole in the middle, and so that's one of the 3 that I did was about that story.
And something happened, I guess, with us being toward the Irish. I'm half Irish and half Choctaw and Chickasaw. So
yeah, well they just made a great combination, I guess.
I think at the Chickasaw Cultural Center they have is there a sculpture or something with that pole?
Yes, yes. And of course the pole, I did those great big poles in front of the headquarters there that they're 25 feet tall. One is leaning and one is not leaning, and it has to do with that very story. So, yeah, you'd ask if I had some pieces out there. I had quite a few pieces.
Your granddad was a chief, wasn't he?
Not my granddad, but my third great grandfather was chief, and then my granddad's brother was chief during the time that Southeastern was being established, and also City of Durant. William Finley Semple was a chief of the Choctaws during that time. During the 1920s, he was a legislator and then went on to become the chief. So during the early part of our history right here in Durant, that was my granddaddy's brother. And then then their great-grandfather was Chief Peter Pitchland.
Well, we thank you for the information, and
I just wish, one thing I wish that I don't have, and I wish I'd look like Jim Thorpe, because I've got all my blue eyes, I look nothing, you wouldn't believe how many people say, how could you possibly be Choctaw? But I have my card,
Did you buy that card?
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to fund this grant for $7,500, the amount requested.
I'll second it.
All right. Motion's been made and seconded. Would you call the roll?
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Walker? Oh, I'm sorry. Trustee Shattuck?
Yes.
Trustee Calhoun?
Yes.
Trustee Thorpe?
yes.
Vice Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Chairman Shear?
Yes.
Thank you so
Thank you.
very much. We appreciate that. I'm going to take opportunity real quick to invite you all. There will be formal invitations now that you have funded this. We will get those printed with your logos on them. So anyway,
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll be glad. You're welcome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank
And I guess you'll get with us about how to follow up and
We'll
what the next
get
steps are.
as soon as the meeting is over, there's a PO that we have to get, but we will start that in the process. We'll let you know as soon as the check is ready.
Thank you. Thank you.
Check is in the mail.
I will charge it to your account.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Please don't do that.
That should be next week. Like I'll get the PO, but they can get checks on Fridays.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I guess we'll go back up to number 3. Discuss and consider elections of this board.
Just this month or next month, when it is?
No, we need to do it this month. Danny, would you be willing to stay as chairman for another year?
If you'll have me.
Yes.
Then I nominate Mr. Scher.
I'll second it.
I have spoken with Cole Walker. He is willing to take the vice chair. I really feel like I need to step down from that.
Is that a nomination or?
I nominate Cole Walker.
I'll make a motion.
We haven't nominated the chairman yet, have we?
Oh, we do it all at one time? Okay. Very
We can do it all at one time unless there's other nominations on the floor. Correct?
What's the question?
We can go ahead and make a nomination for all the other seats.
Sure, you can make all the nominations and then do all the votes, or
Okay.
make a nomination, have a vote, make a nomination, have a vote.
Okay.
Can I nominate Jeff for the treasurer position again?
Jeff, will you stay on?
Yes, I will.
Yay. And Debbie, would you stay on as secretary?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Unless you want to.
Chairman, I would like to nominate Danny Scher for chairman, vice chair Cole Walker, treasurer Debbie, nominated Jeff Shattuck, and secretary Debbie.
I'll second it.
Okay. Call the roll.
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Shattuck?
Yes.
Trustee Calhoun?
Yes.
Trustee Thorpe?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Chairman Shear?
Yes.
One question that I have before we move on. I think we also need to confirm where the meetings will be so that we can get that to the AG's office. Is that correct? As a trust of this.
To the AG's office? I mean, you do have to say when and where all of your regular meetings are going to be.
We don't do that until December, I think.
Well, this starts a new year. That's what had me confused. July starts a new year.
But we send that in December.
Okay. Okay, that clarifies it then. We'll do that in December.
Yeah, I remember doing that previously.
Okay, I'm sorry, Danny.
Okay. Next one's number 4, special signage.
What page is that on?
There's,
Do you want me to get up and speak on that, or so I can't see
Yeah.
if you're looking
Yeah.
at it or not? I'm sorry, would you like me to speak? Do you want to speak?
No, you go ahead.
Okay.
You go ahead.
So, thank you
I
guys
think
for having me this afternoon. Special signage. So special signage is really, what we like to do is get a budget established for two reasons. Number one, we are looking at the inevitable construction on Main Street, which is going to be happening here coming into 23.
January, yeah.
They'll eventually get their way down to Main Street. So the sooner that we can get traffic redirected, let people know how much, which is actually, there's a lot of parking off of Law Street and off of Evergreen, and lack of signage sometimes is hard for people to think. It's not a natural traffic pattern to go back on Law Street in particular. So what we'd like to do is to get some street signage, and again, we had discussed this a few months back about, somebody made the recommendation about keeping it consistent with colors so that it stood out. We wanted to use some of the Main Street businesses themselves with some of their canvas space to have either an artist do a parking sign and then have that sort of look or that mold come into street level signage or eye level signage at the street so that we could start getting people thinking about where to navigate traffic around. And that leads into the second part is that, you know, once we do have the construction going on, we are going to have to navigate traffic. So this just gives us a chance to get a leg up on it, at least get a hard cost on what and where we want. So I think what we're trying to do is to establish a budget that we can, you guys feel comfortable with, the board feels comfortable with, that we can go ahead and pursue actual quotes and production of signage and just kind of get that mindset going earlier rather than later once the construction's already here.
Is this special signage, is it advertising businesses, or what do you say?
No, just parking. It's just for parking.
So I'd like to bring something up on that. We've never discussed it, and it's, I don't think, being used. But the city itself, back 30 or 40 years ago, bought property that's behind the north side, the south side buildings of downtown between 3rd and 2nd, and there's quite a bit of property in there that's not been used for what it was bought for, and I think it's owned, if I remember right, it's owned by a parking, maybe a trust or something like that. It'd be Durant Parking Trust, but the city of Durant's the one that owns it.
Charlie, is that behind where there's an electrical recharging?
Oh, yeah, restart.
Comanche Railroad owns that.
No, they don't. They own some, but they don't own what I'm talking about.
Well, the reason...
You're talking behind Central Electric?
I'm talking about if you
Copper Kettle.
If you come out of Durant Lumber and look to the east, that's in front of you there's quite a bit of property there.
Well, now, Law Street parking is back there. There is parking.
Parking lot. That's paved parking lot.
No, we
Now, where Olin Miller's old warehouse was, that still belongs to the railroad, doesn't it?
I'm not talking about any of the warehouses. I know Center Petroleum had a warehouse back there. But some of the buildings that are facing 2nd Street were bought. There's a plat that shows all that, but it's quite a bit of parking.
There's a lot.
Been paved? I don't...
I think I know what he's talking about. Because I was looking at this, I've been driving down Law Street on purpose lately to kind of see how much parking is out there. And let me tell you, there's a lot of little plots that'd be like, boy, that'd make a good parking garage, or boy, that'd make a good offset of parking.
This whole area between, and it's pretty well squared off, between 3rd and 2nd. In behind there. City of Durant owns it. They own it through it's a parking authority maybe, or something like that.
The reason...
I'll tell you where, there's another pretty good sized piece of ground, and I've talked to the city manager about this. Right next to the water tower on Arkansas Street, where it used to be the Mistletoe building, there's a fenced area there. There's nothing in there. That belongs to the city. I've suggested them, just nothing else, opening that up, putting a sign there, and spreading some rock on it for right now.
I'm with you on that. I think that's a good idea,
Well,
and a
Danny-
good use of that space.
When we talked to John Dean about that, he said that it's in private ownership, and he had made contact with that individual, and they will not budge on it.
No.
I'm talking about the one right behind that paved area, unpaved area that you're talking about, where the fenced area is. He said that because
The area that the fence is belongs to the city. That's the city's fence. Now, there's a piece to the south of that would make even a bigger parking lot.
Okay,
And
maybe that's what he was talking
that
about.
fenced area belongs to the city.
City, okay.
City had, at one time, there's a bunch of junk
Yeah.
back in there, but that's been cleared out,
Yeah.
and it's just Johnson grass now.
Well, anything back there would help
I mean,
tremendously.
it seems like, I think there would need to be some sidewalk put in, because they're kind of rough and walking across the railroad track and everything.
Well, I
but-
think on
but for
any
very little
of
money,
these lighting places, I mean,
Yeah,
parking,
everybody-
we're gonna have to put some lights. in
Yeah,
there.
there needs to be some lighting, but that's one of the things, I mean, we really need to start working on and budgeting some money to it, because along with
My question would
Wall
be,
Street Brewery, that they're having a lot of community events there, and, one time, we didn't think anybody would walk half a block, to something, but people are doing it.
People are doing
so
it, yeah.
It's really not that far off.
No.
Jeremy, is this signage, I mean, are you guys asking for this
What-
committee
What are you
to?
asking for it to do? I mean,
We
Or,
just
I mean,
need permission.
Is Main Street going to be involved? Is the chamber going to be involved? I mean, how, does that make?
This is strictly for the DTE, DTA.
Oh, it is? Okay,
But all
yeah.
we're asking for is for the committee to give us permission to go ahead and research it.
Oh, yeah,
We'll bring
yeah.
that cost to you, but we need permission from this authority to go ahead and move forward with that.
Well, I kind of got a question. Is that our responsibility, or should the city be paying for that? I mean,
Well,
or should we work together?
That was my thought.
I agree.
Together.
Having consistent, everything from color to design and all that, that's something we need to look at. Downtown at Roger Brooks thing, he mentioned having consistent,
Yeah.
signage
Yeah.
throughout town and everything.
Well,
Something we need
Janet,
to
I
do.
It almost looks like, since it's city property, they should be putting the signage up.
Well, they should be mowing too, so there's that.
That's
should.
that's the thing. I think that's sort of what our goal was. Our question was to try to get a budget like a not to exceed dollar amount, and then let's try to find how much quality signage we can get for that amount. And I think we'll have a lot more control and a lot more. It'll be expedited, and as far as production, installation. We have been working with Sign Depot on a lot of things. They've done a lot of good stuff with us as far as doing some in-kind or being able to kind of match us a little bit on pricing by, getting a little bit of, some collaboration with them on some of these things. So I think we could do a job that's more targeted to what we want to do, and that's to get people that are not familiar with Durant on how to get around Durant and where to park in Durant. So the sooner they get out and walk around, the sooner they're spending money, enjoying their time.
I
That's
just don't wanna step on the city council, because it's city land. I think it ought to be on your agenda, maybe this month.
We're talking about
You
signage.
figure out, because it's city land,
No.
and, they need to know about this before we get into
Yeah, I
this.
don't think we need to be paying for the signs. I mean, I'm sorry.
I would think that the place for us at this point would be to research and see what we're really talking about for parking and.
And that's basically
you're
what
wanting to
we're
do.
wanting.
yeah, exactly.
That's basically.
The whether we do signage or do something, if we want to not have a big to our tourism sort of traffic, we're going to need to address this in some capacity, whether it's buying signage or doing some other outreach effort. We're going to need to let our community people know that are not familiar with Durant how to get around here, because that's where most of them are coming to, especially from Casino and through
I
town.
would like for you to go in front of the city council and explain what you're talking about. The city council, right?
Well, first of all, this is about the parking that we already have that exists. we have got to let public know that we have public parking on that Law Street area behind Main Street. And that's basically what we are talking about, the signage. It would direct public to the places that are already there. I don't think it's going to hurt to talk to the city at all, but somebody needs to start moving forward with it, because as of January...
I think if we do the research and we are going to buy a bigger volume than what you all are anticipating right now, we're going to get a better price. So I think we need to do the research and have that so that when he makes a presentation that the council will have him.
Well, that's all we're asking for, is permission to go ahead and research.
I make a motion that we do
The
that.
council this next time.
That's what I
And
said.
get an input from them to where he would know where he's at on the rest of it.
But they should have to have permission for them to even go before the city council from us, is what she said.
Then I make a motion
Yeah.
that we allow you to move forward with your signage project.
I second it.
I'll second it.
I'm in favor of it, but I mean, we might provide a little seed money, but I think the city should bear the biggest expense.
We're not looking at any money at this point.
Exactly.
No
Yeah.
money.
And I think the other thing too, I also want to clarify this. I think for our signage, we're really just focusing it here in the area where there's going to be the biggest disruption of traffic flow with the most tourists and people from out of the area. So we're not talking about doing anything outside of an expanded area, but a very targeted area where we would have, not as many signs, which may keep our costs down, but again, more focused to where there's going to be the biggest traffic disruption.
With your flexibility, I believe that you can get all the signage right through the city council.
Yeah, that is too
Well,
kind,
you have
sir.
permission to do it.
You are too kind.
I'm glad somebody's thinking ahead, because I guarantee you, people in the city haven't given a thought to it.
Well, and that's one of the things that Janet spoke about, and that we are adamant about. We're starting this week, we've actually already started, is going around and talking to the downtown merchants, making sure that they're all aware of it, that we're here as a community to work as a group to kind of navigate this flow. I know you guys are going to have traffic flow issues, at some point in time in the next year. It's going to be very interesting for a lot of merchants, and so the sooner we can just start the conversation with those people, I think the more collaborative we can work together.
Again, why we think that the public has to know there's parking behind those buildings, like the back door guests are your best. Anything that we can get to drive the traffic to the back of the building to pull them in.
I've got one word, I second it.
Oh, we already did. Okay.
I'm saying
Charlie, you done it too, or
it. Good, sorry.
Okay, roll call.
You can have it.
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Shattuck?
Yes.
Trustee Calhoun?
Yes.
Trustee Thorpe?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Chairman Shear?
Yes.
For our next agenda item here. So we have been talking about, and Mr. Calhoun, I think you will be particularly happy about this.
And what page is that on?
This is, so on the agenda, there's actually nothing in the packet on the agenda. The gentleman just sent this over because we got his cost notes. So he just sent this over about an hour before we got to the meeting today. So what we were looking at is doing a...
Did you actually bring that video with you?
Well, I was trying to share, but I didn't have my phone with the link in it. So
Okay.
I can email it to each of you so you can watch the link. The guy did the video production guy, which, by the way, this gentleman who did this is the same guy who built the Discover Durant website. Clay Thomas with Marketing Tech, so they're now called Sidekick, is their new marketing venture here. And he put together a fantastic 30-second sample commercial of the types of video effects, the types of shot transitions, and one of the things that we are missing is more regularly high quality, good produced video content. And so he did looking at over the course of a year, he put together a budget for us to do five videos, and each of these would allow us to keep more relevant content, more up-to-date information, different variations of events and activities that go throughout the year. And because he's able to do more of those for us, we're able to get a much better cost savings on the production side, because The front ends and back ends of those videos will be the same, so that's less he has to cost and produce there. It's more about just putting stuff in the middle. So because of that and his access, we'll have a much better quality produced video. He will have that up on our website, which will get people hanging out on our website longer, which is something we're always wanting to do. The longer they stay, the more they're planning. So this budget is for $40,000, and it's a not to exceed. You won't go over that. But that would be to do 5 videos over the course of the next year. And again, those video production times, if you look on there, are all very quick for video production. He's 3 to 6 weeks, and a lot of that is depending upon how intricate the shot is. If he's doing and he does drone photography, handheld photography. So they just invested $10,000 in video production equipment, and he is wanting to get out and start actively pursuing this. So we're getting a really good deal, and he knows our brand, he knows our voice already because of the website. So it does feel like it's a good fit. To just do a single commercial production, and this quality is gonna be roughly between $10,000 to $15,000, $16,000. So doing it at $8,000, we're still getting very good quality, and I think that's a very good value for that price.
He gave you a 30-second presentation on that.
It's like yeah, I can show you on my phone if you guys want to watch it, or I can text you the clip. No, I cannot. I apologize, I don't have that email up.
If you remember, we 2 months ago, we authorized the package from oktravel.com. In that, we have clips that will be showing commercials that will be running on Discover Oklahoma. That's one of the reasons we need this video done. We need a new commercial shot. We've been using the one that we had ran the 3rd year that we came in, and it's outdated. But we're going to need it.
Southeast Sports package as well. We need new videos for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who's going to own the product when it's done?
I'm sorry?
Are we going to own the product?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Are we going to get to view this before and maybe adjust some things before he puts it on?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We have full creative control.
Bring it up here and shoot it for you. Okay?
Yep.
I wish we had.
If I would have got the link from him a little bit earlier, I would have forwarded the link so you guys could see that. I would have. I will email it to you all individually, though. It's a private YouTube thing. It's just something he made up. But yeah, that stuff will not get published until we say so, and we'll actually be in charge of distributing it. So if it's going to a commercial, if it's going to another, like Jay Lindley with Mix 96 with Radio Southeastern, like we'll be the one distributing that video and posting it around. They'll just be creating it for us.
Have this on our website?
Mm-hmm.
And where else?
YouTube channel, Facebook, and wherever else we can put it. But those are going to be our major outlets right there. It's going to be the website, YouTube channel, Facebook page.
And all the costs and put it everywhere. We just amount right here, right?
You got it. Not to exceed. So if we come under, he's only going to charge us that.
Jim, that does not include if we buy advertising from individuals like KXII, KTN. Now, the cost is already encumbered in that package deal with Discover Oklahoma. But if we buy additional advertising, that's additional advertising. That we do not have to do the creative part of it because the commercial will be ready to go.
Remind
So
me.
we'll be able to give the commercial and just, since it's our commercial,
Yes.
we just send it to them.
Yes, yes.
That's exactly it. That's the best part when we do something for like a K10 or Discover Oklahoma or whoever
Charlie,
else.
Jeremy asked me that, and I didn't have time to go back. I'm thinking that it was around 7,500 to 10,000. I can't remember, but we've certainly gotten the use out of that. We've ran that both on K10, KXII, and then Discovered Oklahoma. We've ran several times. That particular video was not compatible with the website that we've got, and this one will be.
What's really good too about the video when we
can look back and get that cost, the exact cost.
When we have these videos, we can take out of that 90 seconds, and I can take, again, remember all the stuff we do on social media, the reels, these stories, they're all like 15, 20 seconds. I can take that very same commercial and I can get about 6 or 8 more video applications just on our social media without just little segments of the commercial, like family getting an ice cream, with some text over something with Durant. So we can really get a lot of legs out of these videos based on how we're working with this arrangement and how he's building it and his accessibility to us.
Is there any way we can change the format on what we do have now? You said it's the wrong format.
The video that was shot that we have been using as a commercial, I don't think that will adapt to our website that we currently have, the new one.
Is there any way we can get that?
Yeah, that's the thing. We just need to get, and I've been trying to track this down, to get the original, and this is a lot of times what happens when you're working with a contracting service that does like a video production, they hang on to the masters. They hang on to the originals. We don't have the original. I haven't been able to locate the original.
Have you just come right out and asked them if they could let us?
Well,
that gentleman's out of business now.
I was going to say, I don't think that they are, yeah. So this gives us an opportunity to right that wrong, because now we will have master rights, we'll have all the hard copies, and we already have an established relationship with the guy because he's still maintaining and doing our back-end website stuff. So
Who owns his library?
Well, we do.
No, he owns
you're talking about the other, sorry, you're going back to the other guy that's out of business? Yeah.
We actually own that production.
But if you can't physically get your hands on it, that doesn't do you much good.
No, we physically have that production. It's in our files. We physically have that production.
So there's somebody that knows how to convert it. Somebody's got a program there.
Charlie, I'm afraid that with the length of time that's passed with that, I don't know if it can, but it doesn't matter. It's outdated.
It's kind of a moot point because it's all outdated. It really is.
Everything that's on that document is outdated. That's
like there's stores.
Fresh content. Yeah, well, that's what we used.
That's because we have
on the Discover Oklahoma.
But there's like business locations that have moved. There's signage to places that aren't business. It's kind of showing its date in that aspect.
Well, and those things we'd have to take out of it. I mean, I'm just wondering if we can get some, without having to pay a lot of money, can get some run on that, because these things are expensive. And
well, this is a good deal. We've gotten the run out. We've squeezed the juice. We've squeezed the juice out of that one. Just from a marketing standpoint and a messaging standpoint, we've squeezed the juice out of that. It needs to be refreshed. It's about 3.5 years old, I think, something to that effect.
Yeah, and after you see something for that long, it doesn't.
It's kind of what, yeah.
The best analogy that I can have with that, Charlie, is trying to advertise a 2016 or 2000. We did that in 2017. A 2017 vehicle in 2022. It's outdated. And so the content that we've got on that video, we don't have anything about the lake. We don't have any overhead drone shots. Those were all shot in the downtown area because if you remember, that was particularly used to drive business in. It was during the COVID situation, and we were trying to let people know that we were opening and that we had things available.
I hear what you're saying, but there's, if you've got a picture of Jim's face, it's not going to change.
Which we do. That's on one of them. Which we do. He's on that, as a matter of fact. So, but there's a.
And also too, I just spoke with Clay about this. So this doesn't have to be accepted in its entirety to do all the videos. We can start with one video and sort of ease our way into that, but at the volume this is the other thing too. We have a lot of stuff going on. We need to be capturing these videos in a highly produced value and have different messaging points because there's very different groups of people that we really want to get this to, and that's people outside of this community.
Well, and with that, he can also utilize some of your photography that you've done over the last year.
That's the thing, yeah, exactly.
The powwow. He can do still shots with that video, which Jeremy's done some fantastic photography over the last year. And I would love to get some of those integrated into what we are offering. The powwow, the rugby tournament that we just had.
Yeah.
So many different things that we have been able, since Jeremy's been on board, to capture that we've never done before. So I just,
Well, I think we need to use his phrasing, I think we need to squeeze this stuff as much as we can.
And I agree with
That's why
you.
we need to own it.
I agree with you.
Well, listen, I can tell you this with Clay, that the current video, we can keep it going. I mean, we can keep it going. I do feel bad for some of our new purveyors in town that aren't getting a chance to, and the fact too that we have a lot more than what's on Main Street. That video is all Main Street, and that just hit me that we've got a lot of cool things around the area that are happening, and it'd be nice to showcase some of those spots as well.
And another thing, we do not have that many people locally that do videography. They specialize in weddings or more intimate type of videography than they do with the basically putting a commercial together with the content that we need, which is covering everything from the lake to our ball tournaments to the cultural centers, both of them.
You gotta have a certain kind of eye for what we're wanting. I don't think it's anybody taking pictures is gonna.
I agree.
And that's the kind of person we need to get. I've never met this guy. Has he been here before?
Yes.
I believe he's presented for you guys, yeah.
He's done several presentations for us.
He built the website, the Discover Durant website. That's the same gentleman that we're talking about here.
And we can put these videos on the website.
Come in and present it himself.
Well, that's the thing. He's busy. He's been here last week. He's visited us twice on this project and on the Magnolia Festival website, which he also does, and the Discover Durant website, which he does. And he did want to be here today. That's why he called me. He's like, "Listen, man, I've got to, IT guys get called. They gotta jump,
There is one thing, though, that I do need to ask the attorney. Jason, you still there?
Yep.
Do we have to put this out for bid? That just crossed my mind. And I apologize. We should have called you earlier.
It would have been good to have one or two more bids.
But that's
Come down to 35.
That's just it, though. There's no one that does.
That's what I'm telling you, exactly.
In our area.
How hard is it for us to find
The other guy in town that I trust and know would do the quality, and I'm friends with videography and photography are like, so I know a lot of these people personally from my own walk of life in photography. The only other guy that I would trust the quality wise to do videography of this kind of, this what we're looking for, like you said it good. Somebody who knows the shot, the eye, what we're looking for, The only other guy to do that, he starts his wedding videography at $20,000. That's what he starts his wedding videography at.
And
so
we have
doing a commercial, yeah.
We have had someone that did a presentation to us for one commercial, and it was $36,000. Jeff, you weren't on the board at that time. Charlie, you remember that.
So I would.
That was one.
Scared everybody off at the time, but
Well, yeah, and
we've got to get into this.
we've got to do it in order to go ahead and continue to promote what we're looking
You
at.
and Jim had a conversation a while ago about maybe him doing one, and maybe we can get a good price out of that one, and if we like it, then we'll.
Well, he's got them broken.
Well, that's kind of the thing. He's got this broken down for us on a unit. The first item, he's got the first video to produce, because it is going to require the most legwork. He's got that item at $16,000, which is a pretty average going rate for a fully produced commercial. They're talking actors, shots, scripts, storyboards, the whole nine, A to Z. 16 grand is a pretty solid number in today's marketplace to do a 60 to 90 second commercial. Because of the volume there, he's getting our nets down to, bless you, good sir.
Bless you.
He's getting our nets down to, that's where the 28,000, if you notice, divided the rest of those by 4, that gets you down to about 7. So he's averaging us about 8,000 a video over the course of those 5.
But we don't know if that's real number.
Exactly. So I would say that was, again, this was going to be like a not to exceed. If you guys decided that this was a budget, then each project we would come back with a cost and then evaluate, okay, are these getting a little out of hand? Do we like this? And that way then we can go into the next video, but we will not exceed that amount. And at each project, each video, you guys will have a cost presented to you with details, and then you can make a determination if, like, you know what, hey man, this is going the wrong way here. We need this to be going down at this point. So.
Do we have 2 more production people around here that does that in the Sherman Denison?
I reached out to 4 people over a 2-week period, and this was the only gentleman that even responded back with a cost or inquiry, or even follow up to said, hey, no, I'm busy, or I didn't even hear anything back from those folks. And one of them I know, because he's busy, he told me.
Right now, the Discover Durant, who the gentleman that we work with, has basically given us priority on those that we want, but we have to make decisions very quickly. We have to have a video or a commercial ready to go. I'm thinking holiday and closer to spring, maybe running one in the fall, because we have several of those that we have already agreed that we're going to produce for. But with that being said, we do not need to use the same commercial on each one of those. It needs to be something different as we go into the different seasonal.
I agree.
I agree too. Yes.
And what's great about those,
locally.
and Mr. Calhoun, what's great about those is that if you have 2 or 3 videos, you talk about squeezing some juice, because now you're only seeing that video for 3 or 4 months instead of 12 months, 24 months, 36 months. When you only see it 3 months out of the year, it gets chance to be new again because you haven't seen it for 9 months, kind of a thing. And that will give us a lot of legs over years with that content.
Can you mix and match the 5 different videos?
Absolutely.
Take a piece out of one and a piece out of another one?
Oh, for sure. And that's the thing too. I have a ton of raw content as well that he's already looking at, and because I do, I'll take like little video captures, and these are all like 5 and 8 seconds. It's people in a booth at Magnolia Festival shopping, a family eating ice cream, in front of Caked Up downtown. I've got a bunch of like raw video for him to use. So that should also keep our costs down in future projects, because we can interject that stuff and he doesn't have to go and shoot it, capture it, or anything like that.
Okay, I'm waiting for Jason to answer us.
Well, you're going to get a preliminary answer, and that is that since it's less than $25,000, no, we don't.
With that being said, we could do the 1 unit.
Can we split it up? Yeah.
Yeah, we could do the 1 unit.
I think we ought to do that anyhow and get a look.
Yeah, I think we're trying to get around that small purchase. Yeah. Because it's the same service. You can't do the same service 5 different times under that amount to stay under 25,000. Yeah.
Oh,
But if we're talking about...
Is 25 our number?
25 is the number.
25 is, yeah.
But if we're talking about just ordering a commercial for $16,000,
That's what, yeah. That's,
so
okay.
what
The
if...
price would be 12,000 on that.
How about this? Since we are talking seasonal, and let's be honest, we only have 3 seasons we're celebrating around here. Summer gets a little hard to celebrate. So what if we kind of came back, or what if we tabled this line item right now until next month? I haven't put together another proposal for 3 videos under that amount.
We've got to have some leverage because we have to have a commercial ready to go for Discover Oklahoma.
We need a commercial now. Can we approve 1 commercial now and then go back to him and say, hey,
let's do that.
We are, yeah, that is the timing wise for another advertising
Yeah.
obligation that we just, that we kicked off.
Jeremy, I like the idea of doing 1 right now. Can we see if he'll do it for 12 and not 16? I know that the 12 is...
Yeah, and I would feel confident he would do that.
and if we have to get bids, I mean, we tell them, say, we got to get bids on this other deal, but we'll go with you, and
Yeah,
everybody else will probably get a bit of higher price.
Yeah, no, I feel confident he would give us still the discounted price at the 1 unit, and let's start there for time's sake.
I make a motion that we approve
I'll second it
the top one there.
for 12,000.
12,000.
12, yes.
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Shattuck?
Yes.
Trustee Calhoun?
Yes.
Trustee Thorpe?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Vice Chair, Chairman Shear?
Yes.
Okay. Discuss and consider approval for new billboard advertising. And Janet, you may want to take the lead on this since you've had a few conversations about how quickly those things are kind of going.
We don't have specifics, and the reason we don't have specifics are because the billboards are gone as quickly as we spot them. And so if you remember when we started into the billboard business, we allocated $40,000 that year to spend. We didn't touch that budget. We had 2 that we finally got. The problem with those, as we locate them in positions, they're gone before we can get it approved. So if we are going to get additional billboards deeper into the Metroplex, even if we're going north towards Atoka, McAllister, and Tulsa, we need a budget so that we can get those things secured to move forward with it. That doesn't mean that you guys won't get approval on it, but we have to know, because they go that quickly. We get a number, we call, and we're continually talking to Landmark and
Stokely.
Stokely does not have anything in Texas. Landmark does. And they will give you what they have available with the prices, and then you call back, and within a day, it's gone. So we've got to have a budget so that we can go ahead, if that's the way you guys want to go. But we've got to know allot a budget so that we can move forward and try to get some of those billboards secured.
So I think the only frame of reference for cost-wise is right now with our current Stokely contract, $1,200 is the hard cost to create the canvas, the sign itself, and then the rental space for a double is $800 a month. So 800 is 96 for the year. You're looking at roughly 10,000 for rental, and then however many hard signs you are out at 1,200 a pop on those. So just to give you, and that's the only frame of reference. That market pricing though is
the market pricing. The price point on all of those are going to change with the area that you're in.
What was it last year?
He just quoted that.
9,600 in rental, 9,600 for the year in rental, and we spent 3,600 in sign productions. We did 3 signs throughout the year at 3,600. So just to give you a frame of reference there.
And we have a double billboard on that right now.
Correct, yeah.
So
I'm sure we'll go up supply and demand like everything else.
Well, and she said it too, the further you go south,
Yeah.
you know.
the further you go into the Metroplex, if you can find one that's available, then the price escalates. The price points go up considerably.
I know the background color that they have on this one out here that we've had for quite a while. You're coming at 70 miles an hour with that light gray or whatever color it is. It just doesn't impress anybody. I mean, you really, have you seen it? I mean, you really don't get anything.
It doesn't jump out at you.
I don't notice it. I don't think we're getting.
It doesn't jump out at you at all.
I mean, design. I mean, I don't know who designed it. I'm not trying to step on any toes.
That's quite all right.
Not good.
So for
That's
this,
quite all
for
right.
the billboard, can we just give you, say yes, y'all can go do a budget? Or do we need to decide the budget today?
Well, if you're wanting us to pursue it, if you don't want us to pursue billboards, then that's just going to be another thing off our plate. So we're okay with that. But if we are going to get additional billboards, and I think Jim was the one that had been talking about this, and I'm not saying they do or don't work. I'm not saying that. But as we move into the Metroplex, those things are going to get higher and they go very quickly. There's usually a waiting list.
We don't have to worry about the new hard side and that cost, just the cost. Like if you saw a sign and it was
we just need
$1,000 a month or whatever, that's what you need to do.
We had allocated, like I said, 4 years ago, the $40,000, and that's what we were going to spend. We never did get to that point. Roughly, we're spending $10,000 a year, I think, on what we've got. And we did a 3-year contract with him, which is even less than that. I think it's $9,600. And then we've got the cost, which is a $1,200 cover for the vinyls that we put on them every time it's changed out.
Is there anybody that can help us, like the board that he's talking about? You know the one he's talking about?
I do, yeah.
I've had to double take it whenever I...
In full disclosure, that's my second billboard I've ever designed, and it's very interesting to see how much smaller something looks when it's that big.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like trying to get 10 gallons of stuff into a 2-gallon bucket.
Yeah, and then once you get it up there, it just looks like tiny, you know, it gets washed out there.
You have a lot of background, and you gotta have, the less letters you can have, the better off you are.
Well, that's the thing. It's hard to write connective messaging and use so few letters to convey what it is we want them to do here, you know?
Right.
And that's eat, stay, and play, you know? And that certainly is open for, I would say, some critiquing, to say the least. So we're finding our mark on that thing, and I hate that it cost us that much to find that mark, but.
And I don't, I'm not excited about East End playing all the color. What I want is that website on there where when people are going down the road, they'll punch it in. All my kids, it's 50 and below. First thing they want to do is hit that website and see what you got.
Well, and if you notice,
If you got the website letters big, going down the highway, don't look at that.
well, that Discover Durant logo is really that visual we wanted, because that's what they do. You go to Google and you Google
Discover
Durant, you know, and then that's where our website or Facebook, one of those two things are going to be the first two hits that you come up there.
Do now is just put it up there.
But I got to be honest with you, and I want to run this past you guys, because we kind of started off the design this way, and it just looked like it might have been too plain. But what we really had, you remember like the old white cans with the 3 X's that just said beer on it? Like, you knew what was in that can, didn't you?
Yeah.
You know, doing something that's just predominantly all white and having the Discover Durant logo and just like discoverdurant.com. I mean, like, if people see it, I think they're going to be inquisitive enough, because trying to do the imagery and showcase all this, that's the part that gets lost when you're driving 70 miles an hour down the freeway.
Yeah.
So I'm open to something more simplistic like that, to just be like,
Trying to decide that today.
What I've truly been looking for are consecutive billboards that has our logo, and we use just exactly what we have used. Eat, stay,
And that's what
play,
Wake Choctaw does.
like a logo.
yeah,
With
the old
a flag.
Barbasol billboards, you know?
Yeah. But it's creative. It's also something that you see very quickly when you're going 70 miles an hour. Font styles definitely are, you have to watch the font, because if you don't, then you get carried away with just looking at what's up there and not what the message is. So, no, we don't have to do any of it. We don't even have to do signage. But if we're going to do billboards, what I'm telling you is we can't wait a month to come back and present it and say we can get this one, and this one, because they're not going to hold them for us, is the
I'd just like
thing.
to have one on the north side and one on the south side on that.
Well, I think we've got good placement on the northbound Reed, on that billboard that we've got. Actually, the ones that we have had, we've doubled and had 2, those look really good. They're noticeable, and there's 2 messages there. Ours, and then whomever is at the bottom of that. So if we are just looking for another one, a southbound Reed coming in from Atoka that way, then we can do that, and they will probably hold that for us. But that's what you guys need to decide, because I'm going to stop looking if we don't.
Frustrated.
Because it's.
How much do we need? One that way and one this way.
Well, if we're spending about 10 now, it's going to at least be $20,000 to $30,000. And we've already got the 10 in our budget. I think we've actually budgeted for 15,000 for that one billboard.
Well,
year.
the billboard signage we have built out for what is in the account right now is for the rental only. So anytime we do signage, that's where we ran into this year. We had to carry over into the new fiscal year because that account we depleted in the monthly rentals and printed more signs. So that also needs to be considered for the sign production, and I would say that you're probably right in that $25,000 range for 2 billboards is probably a good budget for 2 hard cost production and annual rentals, provided we don't go too far south and it gets too pricey.
So you think 25,000 would take care of it?
Well, we've already got approval for the billboard that we have, Jim. So this is above and beyond that, yes. I think 25 that's a start for us anyway. That's a start.
Well, I'll make a motion that we use that $25,000 on the billboards. You know, we'll give it a try for 3 years and see what happens.
I'll second it.
25? Beautiful, thank you.
Roll call. Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Shattuck?
Yes.
Trustee Calhoun?
Yes.
Trustee Thorpe?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Chairman Shear?
Yes.
Now, from what he said a while ago, if we get over that, we gotta go get bids.
This isn't for one billboard. That is an amount that we can utilize, correct?
No, we're not contracting for somebody to do something for us, we're buying.
Yeah, that's true. We're purchasing advertising
The price
space.
of the product is the price of the product.
Okay.
Okay, next item is,
Okay, discuss and consider approval for use of promotions advertising account funds for the Peanut Time Capsule events. This is not about actually spending
In here?
well, no, because there's nothing really a line item in here, because here's what we're asking for on this one. We're not asking for any allocation of any funds. All we're wanting to do is to take the Peanut Time Capsule event, which is on here. We'll go over this. That's part of our marketing. What we want to be able to do is to use funds that are already allocated in the promotions and advertising account for the Peanut Time Capsule events to, again, just save coming back each month with, you guys will have detailed hard costs on everything, all the collateral materials, signage, event stuff we have. We just want to be able to expedite some of the transactions and using out of that promotions and advertising account.
So we're not asking for any more money?
Correct.
We've already got it budgeted, right?
You got it.
Well, I'll make a motion on that too.
Second.
Okay.
Second.
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Shattuck?
Yes.
Trustee Calhoun?
Yes.
Trustee Thorpe?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Chairman Shear?
yes. Okay, grant wrap-up reports.
Now, that's over here, right?
Yeah, I'm not really sure this is my first grant wrap-up report with the board.
Basically, all the information.
I was
is
to say,
there.
yeah, all the information's there. So Durant Riding Club had a great event. They were fantastic. The Magnolia Festival, clearly that was the biggie in there. We did that really well. The Pulled Pork Festival had its ups and downs. I think some of the things in there were about the newness of the issue or the newness of that event. It was hotter than blue blazes. I don't know if you guys remember the weekend of Dragon Main, but good Lord, that was a brutal day.
Yeah, I was out of town.
You were in a better place than here, my friend.
Now, the income part, how much did the chamber make off of that? Started with the rental booths, this came back to the chamber, right? It's on page 22.
The Magnolia Festival wrap-up report, well, that,
38,000 donation, 52,000. That's the total income that the chamber made off of that?
Mm-hmm.
And this is
There we go.
right here, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So you wind up making around $60,000 then, right?
Well, we will if we don't get any. There was a lot of things that we have not gotten in. Our T-shirts were around, I think our T-shirts are going to exceed that $4,500 amount, but we don't have a bill in from it yet, Jen. Also, we don't have a total bill in from the property, which charges for the reception.
So we're looking at about $50,000 made on this.
That's what our goal is, anywhere from $40,000 to $50,000 is what we try to make on it.
We need to put your thinking cap on and do about 1 or 2 more in the summer and have some money coming in like that.
You're exactly right. You got us capped at $10,000. You're exactly right. But you capped us at $10,000, so my hands are kind of tied behind my back.
Make this on the backside, on the boots and all that stuff.
Which hat have you got on when you're talking about that?
Well, he just asked me. I have the Chambers hat on.
Well,
We are fixing to do an event that is strictly Discover Durant, and that's a concert series.
now which hat have you got on?
I've got on Discover Durant, 100%. Now, if you want me to factor in labor cost and our insurance and everything that we put into that, I'll be glad to do that.
I'm not sure that I asked that question.
I'm sorry.
Okay, next.
I would like to tell you, though, we do have you want to go ahead with that? We do have a secured telephone line for Discover Durant. We've got a number. It will go on everything we've got. We're also having business cards that will not identify. It will just be Discover Durant with mainly the website and the phone number on it that we can hand out.
Any more questions on this?
Well, next.
Then I think the last one is just our economic. Sorry, I did leave the part on the.
We're looking at Durant Riding Club next.
Oh, we're way past that.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was going on Riding Club and pulled pork.
We're on Magnolia, wasn't it?
Yes.
We're on Durant Riding Club now. Is that in here?
It should be.
Did they have a successful, did they?
The Riding Club did, yeah. And that was one of our biggest posts that we had last month was from the rodeo.
It looked like
that thing got like 20,000. That place was full beyond full. And Susan Edelin, who is the grant applicant, it should be.
Jeremy, we did not. That's not in there. All you've got are the expenses.
Well, I really did a number on this month's board packet, didn't I?
You've been busy.
Here it is. No, that's Durant Main Street.
I don't see what he.
Yeah, they turned one in. I assured you, we had it marked and received.
It was received.
It was received, yeah.
And everything was in order.
It was the biggest rodeo they've had.
It was. They had their television guy that they had come in with. This guy was hilarious. This was a new color commentator they had come in, and he had everybody in the stands just cracking up. I mean, everybody's having a good time. They were having a good time. It was very well attended. The bull riding was fantastic. The guys did amazing. And even though it was, I mean, like I said, it was hotter. It was hotter than something else. I left Magnolia Festival to go over there and shoot one evening, and it was a full house, man, and full on heat and everything. And concession stands were out the wazoo, and of course you see that many trucks and that many trailers. You know, the hotels were full as well. That was a busy weekend in Durant.
Can you bring us the report next month?
Yeah, I will. I'm sorry about that. I honestly.
The pulled pork, you have that in here?
The pulled pork that's the one that starts with Main Street. That's where I said the Riding Club is right in between there. I'm not sure
What's the page number?
That page number is going to be 44. And they have their income breakout on page 45, so you can look at where the grant application was at and the total income versus total expenses. They do have their itemized sheet there, and it is on page 45.
You got all the receipts from the rodeo.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that sheet.
Did they have any more grants or any more sponsors come in besides just that $10,000 we got?
Just for the Pulled Pork Festival, they did not. Nope. And I do not know how Dragon Main was funded. I don't know what money source they used for that. I wasn't in.
They do, in essence, have some monies that come in from. They get money from the car show, but she didn't show any of that income. on this because she thought it was strictly about the pulled pork.
So there was some money that came in on the car show.
Yes, yes. They get
$5,000 more?
I don't know yet because they had not split the funding, but they split whatever the capital revenue from the event is with the car club. And they had,
Like I always see, you know, whoever the
Yeah.
sponsors are, other than us.
well, but we didn't do the car show. This was for the pulled pork. That's all she sent in was the pulled pork.
But the car show was tied in with this week's.
Not with the grant, no. It was tied in with the weekend, but not with that
Yeah,
grant.
on the calendar, it held it the same weekend, but from a earmarked money standpoint, the pulled pork festival.
Did it have any effect on the car show, or did the car show have any effect on this? We don't know.
I would say they were both held on the same weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know how they came up with 10 to 20, the number for coming.
I mean, if you just look at the numbers there, that's not worth it.
Yeah,
For the revenue that it produced, yeah. The effort and the money it took to produce it, then bringing enough money to.
Number of Durant hotel and motel rooms used, 10 to 20. I mean, I could have counted that.
But if some things, if they're revenue neutral, they contribute enough to the overall weekend or the event that maybe you don't need to try to make money on it.
I would say
think this is something sitting on that board. We will not be doing that again.
I was gonna say, I don't think we're gonna have a pulled pork festival grant application across our desk again. Yeah. Which is unfortunate. It is unfortunate. It'd be great to have a good, barbecue festival going on, but I don't know if June is the best time of year to get people outside doing that.
Having a car show would be 10 times better than the pulled pork.
Yeah. I agree. There's some good looking cars out there too.
Well, and part of our mission is to increase activity by creating new events.
Yeah,
And if you don't try the new event, you don't know if they're going to work or not.
I'm not saying, but not everything has to produce a big bunch of money. I mean, some of it's just having stuff going on for people to take part in.
Exactly.
Well, and that is one of the evaluative criteria in the bylaws is if it also has, or in your grant applications, does it offer a cultural, exposure to the community?
I don't know, I guess we're coming up now on the activity marketing report. I've got a question about the rugby. How did that come out?
Okay, so I'm going to be posting pictures tomorrow on Discover Durant. James Dry, who is a big proponent of getting that here, he actually was out there on Saturday as well. He came from the anniversary of the Cultural Center over to the rugby field. And let me tell you, the guys, and I hope somebody from City, Ryan Brewer, I hope City Parks Department's listening to this real quick.
Fantastic.
That place looked beautiful. I mean, the grass was like carpet. Like these guys were spoiled rotten, man, because they're used to playing on, burnt grass, hard dirt at this time of year. And I mean, we got the rain the day before, which just, just made things just a little mwah. The tournament was great. There are some amazing photos of these guys just giving it all. There was women's games out there that they were just, listen, man, I'd more scared to walk on the ladies' field. Boy, they were getting at it, man. There were a ton of people out there. The parking lot was full. They were all from out of town. They all, we had food trucks out there, so all of our local purveyors, vendors, food vendors, they did very well out there. They all stayed. The gentleman who ran it, Jeff Klumberg, am I saying that right?
Yes.
Klumberg? Mm-hmm. That man did a really good job at promoting Durant. I mean, he really did. He worked with local printers to get all their posters done. He worked with local designers to get their Choctaw Sevens, which is what they named their tournament. Once he found people were going out to the casino, he went back and got them staying in in the hotels in town. And the group of guys and girls were fantastic. I mean, it was a good group of people that's the kind of crowd we want to have in town.
Where all do they come from?
They mainly out of Dallas and North Texas area. Those were the biggest sort of represented groups.
They had a large contingency.
That came down from Tulsa. That's true. Yeah, that is correct. So, but the
are they coming back?
The best is yet to come.
Yeah.
The best is yet to come.
Oh, okay.
They might be. Go ahead and drop it on them.
He sent us an email today, and they're already looking at 2 more adult tournaments and 2 youth tournaments. This will be for fall. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit further down the agenda about a couple of things for that.
So rugby
But
tournament.
the crowd was very, very good, and the cultural activities were as well.
It was.
And we didn't have any skin in the game for that. But
Kind of where I was getting around to is that James came out, he did a Facebook Live video with the guy who was running the tournament, so like we got a lot of really good sort of PR and press on that, and some video legs out of that too on our Discover Durant pages. So it was very good. Thank you for asking.
When they have the barbecue at the football game, are they going to raise the prize for the best barbecue to bring more people in? Good.
Yeah, that's what he had on his grant, Jim. He had the prize amounts there. So.
On to the report itself. So last month, again, we've just continued to see, now that we're kind of back in activity mode now, it's been nice to see all the engaged followers, and I really think that we're going to see the spill-off of this coming in the fall at the concert series. There're just going to be more bodies. You know, the idea here is to look around and just noticeably see more people, and I feel like that's going to happen with the number of followers we're getting from outside the area and the way they're engaging with our stuff. One of the things here, just to go down the bullet point line, outlined and began the time capsule celebration. So on the back sheet there, these are our tentative dates and locations, kind of like a to be determined here, but I think we've got the framework really established. And this is sort of like all of the things to get these events going is what we wanted to ask that promotions and advertising account usage for, so that we could, as you can see here, there's a lot of volume, you know. And what's really cool, the one in September, I want to highlight real quick because that's the picture we just took with the young ladies that were in here. So since they're going to have I think, what do they have, 8 or 9 teams out there? They're going to have several hundred people. On the back end of that tournament is a boys baseball tournament and a soccer tournament that very weekend as well. So there's going to be tons of families and things. So we're just going to go to the people. We're going to have
What weekend is that?
It's September 15th. There's nothing.
I was bringing that in.
No, that's the Durant Booster Club that we just did right here.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, that's Discover Durant shine right there. So here's the cool thing that they've done with the Booster Club. They have partnered with Imagine Durant, and on that Friday night after our Peanut event, they're going to have, because it's girls softball, they're watching a league of their own out at the multiplex. They're going to have an outdoor,
blow-up theater.
Yeah, theater project. So we're just going to have a big old party out there and have our celebrate our Peanut time capsule out there with the Booster Club softball tournament and all the other families that'll be out there.
About the Durant High School Booster Club.
Correct. The high school softball. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I apologize. They were here earlier to take their picture with their check.
Were they?
Yeah. And they're hosting a tournament, and I just spoke with their Lindsay Knight, who was here last month to request that grant. All the girls came in to take a picture with the check today. So.
I know when Bush was president of the Durant Booster Club and Carl Hutchins, and I came behind them, we were raising between $28,000 and $30,000 a year at that time. I don't know. After we got out, there's a couple of them didn't pay attention, and they got $8,000 the next couple of years. But we used to raise a lot of money for
Well, that's good. That's good. This is one of those events on the calendar that's going to be really good for the community. It's not necessarily that we're going to be turning a profit for Discover Durant, but like the food trucks are going to be out there. We're doing a movie in the park for all the kids and families. We're going to be celebrating the Peanut time capsule. It's just going to be a real good, kind of a feel-good weekend for the community that weekend. So that is the first one there, is that outline schedule. On the distributed bags here, let me get you guys. We actually have our trip to Shreveport, Louisiana. So if you look at that second bullet point, you'll notice that that number is 1,047 Discover Durant grab bags. We are getting these things kicked out faster than we can put them together. We keep JB busy in the office making these things. So just to give you an idea, we distributed 557, and when we say these Discover Durant grab bags, they have a Discover Durant magazine in them, a restaurant lodging guide, so they know all about our local hotels and eateries, And then they will usually have 1 to 3 other things, like we took some stuff for the Cultural Center at our last one because they had their anniversary coming up. So we just have 1 to 3 different things in there too, a peanut being one of those. So we give 557 out at the conference in Shreveport, 240. This was Clara, police chief, had a police chiefs conference in town. Got over 240 distributed to him. We did 40 for the rugby tournament this weekend. We've got 10 for another RV group that's coming into town, and just spoke with her last week. Sounds like a very interesting group. It's a group of retired couples, and they just go places together in these like little caravans of RVs. They're going to stay out at the KOA. And the ladies like to shop because the guys like to go and play. They're going to be out at Chickasaw Point playing golf and in the casino the rest of the time. But the ladies are all going to be downtown in our areas shopping, seeing the museums, coming out to eat. So I had a real nice visit with them. So they're going to come in.
That'd be a good time for downtown to have a shuttle bus, wouldn't it?
Well, you might be onto something there, my good man. I certainly wouldn't turn down that idea. I'd hop on that bandwagon.
I've got the cost.
You did.
I do.
And then we did, in association with the Lake Texoma Authority, we're doing 200 bags for an event that Brandy Burkhalter is putting together as well there. So again, trying to bring people from Texoma out into downtown. We've got the dates set for the Magnolia Christmas Fest, which I know the tourism board's not, sponsoring in that, but that is set. Why that's important this year, it's going to be November 18th and 19th. As we get closer, we'll get some more official invites, but we are going to be incorporating some of the peanut time capsule events into the Christmas Fest, as well as introducing some of the 25th anniversary to Magnolia Festival coming up in 23. So we'd love to have you guys out for 1 or 2 of those events. And then, that's pretty much it. Social media impact across the channels. Again, we're still just knocking out of the park. Again, with a month we had no events, we still reached nearly 50,000 people. We're getting great video views off of our Facebook Live feeds, which are doing really good. And again, we're still picking up followers, 123 just in the last month. So again, that all leads me to think that when we start getting events going in the fall, we're going to have a lot of bodies there. So I'm really looking forward to that. These are all very good signs.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I do second your explanation of the financial report today, by the way. That was very good.
I got a question. Do you have any kind of report on our Main Street highway intersection out there, how that project's coming along and what stage are they in?
Well, that's very interesting. Just from a casual observer, I happened to be driving that way today and saw there were some busy bodies out there looking busy.
What were they busy doing?
They were busy making that grass a little bit shorter.
The only thing that I've noticed is, and I don't know whether they did it or whether the highway department did it, but coming on the off ramps and on ramps, that was mowed, but it still wasn't on the big plots and the 2 clover.
When I looked today, and again, I was trying to do one of these where I'm driving and I'm hanging out the window trying to take a picture of the video, so I didn't get a real good shot of it, but what it did look like is that they were getting all of the perimeter areas out there.
It's beginning to look a lot better.
I know to say, I defer to you guys. You guys see that probably more frequently than we do. I mean, have you guys noticed activity? What has been your observations?
Yep, they're out there before 7 this morning.
That's the best time to get out to do that work.
It certainly is.
So, I believe that's the end of my time here. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the time today.
You have anything from Choctaw tourism?
Nothing that was submitted.
Okay. Printed Durant area maps.
Oh, the only update on that is the art files are over to Sign Depot, which again, they're doing some coordinated effort on this with us, so we're not incurring any cost on it. We just need to get a meeting set up with them to find out what is the progress, where are we at, is there something we need to help to kind of keep it moving along, so.
This was on what?
The new printed area maps, it's the last item in the marketing report and activity report.
What about the intersection out there by the swimming pool? We were gonna put is that still?
It's all
I
part
can
of the
address
overlay,
that,
yeah.
They ran into problems with they ran into solid granite underneath it. And they're trying to now figure out a way that they can attach it and make it stay Charlie. But my understanding is the statue is ready to mount, but they ran into some problems.
Oh, that's right. He was here talking about that. John Dean was.
That I don't.
They drilled. Well, didn't he say they drilled one all the way down, and the second one they got like 3 feet into 6 feet, and it was like broke bits. Yeah, they just broke bits off or something like.
They need to have a different bit. Is what they need. You know, when they built the swimming pool there, they had to blast all that out with dynamite.
Sounds very Durant, Oklahoma.
You should have told them that before they started on the other, Charlie.
Well, they didn't ask me.
Oh.
That's what that's been. You know what? Thank you. I've been noticing construction equipment. I live right up the hill from right there. I've been noticing construction equipment trying to level that thing off. And that's what they're doing right there. Okay. Well, they're trying to get at it, but it doesn't look like they're having much luck.
When they built the high school, they ran into that problem too, rocks.
They just need to change bits. I mean, drilling companies drill that stuff all the time.
So what you're telling me is the land here is as hard-headed as the residents?
I'd rather see them drill than
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a while for completion date and stuff.
Just based on recalling what I've seen and my niece had a birthday party out at the city pool this week, and I was out there. That's why I was kind of familiar. I'm recalling this now that you've said this. It did not look like there was a lot of progress there. They were trying. There was a lot of heavy equipment, but I didn't see a lot of depth going down. Yeah.
they'll have to get a bit to do it. Somebody that knows how to drill.
All right, do we have any new business?
Yeah, I'd like to put something on the next meeting about security around the overpass, hotels and restaurants. Just bring it up, security companies that could be, talked to bring security to the motels, restaurants and all that. We're getting a lot of stuff, people are breaking in, they're just breaking into pickups or having to tell people, and that's not good. And during Oklahoma, tell them to, lock everything up and take it into the room, because people are coming to your place too, and Charles and mine too. And I'd just like to bring that up. I mean, this has to do with tourism. You sure don't want a bunch of cars and pickups to be broken.
Or you think the police department needs to do a better job, or do you need to contract private security companies?
Do some. I've got a couple of them, one from Clara and one from around here that's got security companies that can help do the job too.
I've asked the
But I'd
police
just like to
department.
bring it up this next.
I would actually like to listen to hear what the police department says.
That's a good one.
So can they be invited to talk to us about the homeless population that seems to be in
They're
the
getting
area?
sick of it.
It's huge.
Yes, and they're getting sick of it, and they're getting sick
And
of
what
coming
they're
to our
doing-
hotels and even doing anything about
What
it.
are their
and I don't blame
efforts
them.
like? I know they have efforts. I know they work hard. I'm very much pro our police department, but I want to know what they're doing. Or
That would be good.
What they can do.
Yeah,
They could come to the motel parking lots and, around those restaurants a little bit more. I know down at Clara, they'll come to 5-6 times a night. So
Anywhere
that's the
along.
difference.
Could we ask?
But we'll just have to bring that up next.
Could we ask
month.
our staff to bring up the law and see what it says about transient people?
You
Here
can
in
ask the city
Durant?
manager and the police department about that, if we can bring them in next
they can come.
meeting.
I would like to know it myself. I mean, it's a.
I know
The city manager,
Hey,
we kind of discussed this at the last meeting, and as I was going out, somebody else was there with me, I forget who it was, and I asked him, and he set his feet and looked at me in the eye and said, "You can't get on somebody for being poor."
I think bringing the police chief in was good too.
But I'll tell you something that's there that people probably aren't thinking about, except the city's thinking about it. If they arrest somebody for being transit, they gotta put them in jail. When they put them in jail, they gotta pay the county $40.
And there's usually not room in our jails either, so.
Well,
No, there's not room in jail.
there's room, they, you know, they'll put them in the drunk tank probably.
Every community in the country is having this
Battling
issue,
it,
not
right?
just the United States.
100% correct.
Throughout, it's,
For some reason, I think Dennis and Sherman don't have the volume we've got.
No, they bring them up here.
But I think the issue
No, they
there
really
is,
do.
the issue,
the
issue with that is
I've heard
the,
Yeah, the police even told us
our
that.
new laws on our drugs has caused a lot of that problem.
I think
Because
so too.
you can walk around in Durant, Oklahoma with more ounces of whatever you want, and it's a whatever, fine.
And you can
or
walk
whatever.
near
But
schools
it's still-
and churches.
And it's not the same in other states. and
Still
certain
trying to bring
laws.
up the security during
But yeah,
this
it's,
next month.
yeah,
That way
it's
I
certainly
put Chief Ann
causes.
and the city manager, and
Yeah.
let's just sit down and talk to them.
I think you're gonna end up finding, you're gonna get, say, well, if you want more on your lot, you're gonna have to pay, hire
You know, the guy that runs
a contractor or somebody yourself to do it.
Federal Land Bank there next door to me.
Yeah.
So that's money out of your pocket.
Women have had
Oh.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
Yeah.
He called me about it.
I've
I
got
said,
one thing,
well,
Danny, that
off
I'd
the
like to
city,
address
maybe
Okay.
on the new.
Had trouble downtown.
Janet's got something for us.
And this will have to go on the next month's agenda, but I would really like for everybody to think about changing that time frame on the grant from 90 days to 60 days. When we first put that 90 days in, it was more for our convenience to go through it, to get used to it. We've got that down. We know exactly what we're looking for. We know the content. So really, there's not a need for the 90-day. And the 60-day time frame is going to give us basically, that gives us 60 days to look at it. And so by the time they get it in and we get it to the board, I think the 60 days definitely is enough. But we will have to put that on next month's to be voted on. I just wanted you guys to think about it. The other thing was, I want us to think about how we are going to handle taking the cap off of that $10,000, because we have awarded money above and beyond that amount, but yet our grant is capped at $10,000.
I think the people that's coming up, they ought to have money themselves, and they shouldn't rely on just this board, but I'm willing to talk about that then. But I mean, my gosh, if they got something going on, they should have some money coming in. But
I'm personally not in favor of very many grants at all.
Yeah.
Limiting, picking and choosing
No, we
just
get
the
it,
ones
Jim.
we think have
We get it,
long-term
Jim.
effects.
let's end that.
Funding a baseball
I'm not
tournament,
following you, get in trouble.
that baseball tournament's gonna take place whether we give them any money or not.
I don't know whether they'll get the city to clean that place up out there every time if we get a bunch of them.
We've got a lot of tournaments that we're looking at in the next few months. And I think that I think the numbers are going to be what tell us. If the hotel rooms are being filled, that's replenishing our coffers.
Right.
If they're not being refilled, then that's not bringing tax dollars to our tax base in the community, and it's certainly not.
Did the rugby tournament,
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, not really new business, those are just things.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'll ask you, did the rugby tournament put
Make a
in?
motion to adjourn.
Okay.
I second it.
I second.
Did the rugby tournament?
Fourth it.
What?
Did
You gotta
bring any
call
rooms
it
to the rugby
roll.
tournament?
Call the roll.
The rugby? When was that?
That was like
Anthony,
this weekend.
trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Shattuck?
Back to-
Trustee Calhoun?
Yes.
Trustee Thorpe?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Chairman Shear?
Yeah.
Did the rugby tournament have us on this last weekend?
Oh, we were booked all weekend.
Yeah, we probably was.
I mean,